Well, hello, wealthy women. It is Coach Tamara here again today with a beautiful success story interview. This is just a beautiful journey of how our lives and things that we go through support us in what we're meant to do next in life and how we can serve and help others. So I'm really excited to share this success story with you and inspire you and have you get in touch with Sonya because she is so successful in everything she has already touched, and what she is doing now is just going to be such a blessing to anybody who has the privilege to work with her. So be inspired by this beautiful interview, reach out to her, and yeah, let's get started. I'm going to pass the camera and mic over to you. Tell us who you are, what a little bit about you, what you are doing, and why your business matters so much to you, your big why, and how you can help others.
Okay. So, like she said, my name is Sonya Achara, and um, to tell you a little bit about myself and the background, and what I feel kind of led me to what I do. I honestly, um, I had a rough life, and so I basically had like an emotionally neglected childhood. Um, I had a mother that was very mean to me growing up. And it kind of, had me in defense mode. I had all kinds of defense mechanisms growing up. I did find a lot of refuge in athletics. So sports was a big thing for me. I ended up running track for San Diego State University. And then after that, I joined the Marine Corps out of all things. Because I thought I was like, I know I can do it. I'm tough, this and that. And so I wanted to like prove to myself. And I was able to be very successful in the Marine Corps. I feel like I was actually put in situations where it was very negative energy environments. And somehow I just knew that it was up to me to change, to kind of change the energy around. And so I had to do that within myself in order to change it there. And I feel like I was able to do that everywhere I went. Recruiting duty specifically was that was my second duty station. It was that was probably the most challenging because it was just such a high stress environment. It was really negative, just the way that they beat you down mentally. And I was depressed for at least a good 6 months when I first got out there. And I really had to dig deep and decide that I was the one that could change this around. And so it was really just a change in my perspective where instead of taking things personal, I was getting all these no's, and it was a high stress sales job basically. And so I'm getting all these no's, taking it personal, and it's affecting me. And so once I changed that attitude around and I just started having fun with it, not taking it personal, things started to change for me. So I started focusing more on helping people. And I've always enjoyed helping people. I've always been very genuine, and people can feel it. And so I ended up doing really well. People would refer people to me. I even got close to the families, and I kept in touch with them and their families even after boot camp and going through the Marine Corps. Even I still even talk to some of them now, and that they're like we're all out of the Marine Corps. But yeah, so that was a big part of my life, was being in the Marine Corps and facing those challenges, and getting myself out of them. And then I did my last and I feel like this was all by design, but my last duty station in the Marine Corps was a toxic environment. And I can't say they were all like that. I'll say 50-50. It was about 50-50. So this fourth command that I was at was a toxic environment. And it was only due to a couple different people that were there. But I didn't realize also that I was in a relationship that was toxic at the time. And I didn't realize until towards the end of our relationship. And it was just one day it just hit me. I had had a miscarriage because I already had one son, one kid through with this person, and we were trying to have another one. But then this miscarriage ended up being basically my awakening and showing me that, like, okay, I need to leave this situation. And so basically, I had the strength to, I left the Marine Corps and this person at the same time. And it was rock bottom. I was leaving all things material. We had built businesses together and things like that. Basically bought houses together and we're renting them out. And then I didn't realize he was going to try and basically sabotage all of that. And so he started doing that. And it really, it's crazy because now I think about it and I'm like, I actually thank him for doing that, because him pushing so hard caused me to really be that much determined to figure out the universe and how it really works. And so in figuring that out, I really had like I ended up having a quantum healing experience where I literally like jumped timelines. I was, because the universe works off of frequency and vibration. And we don't realize that our thoughts actually go out into the universe like radio signals. And science has proved this already. So everything I say is like science backed. And so our thoughts and feelings is what makes our vibration, and what we vibrate at is what we bring into our lives, whether it's negative or positive. And so in figuring this out and how it changed my life around so dramatically, I went from losing houses and not knowing what I was going to do next to writing a book, creating this program. And it was all in such a short amount of time, because time is really an illusion anyway. And so when we're able to get into the quantum, we're really able to get into the quantum, into the 0 point energy, we can actually create and do anything we want in time doesn't matter. So
Yes. Yes. I love
and
everything that you're saying because it's really true. When sometimes you're in the middle of it, the muck, let's just
mhm,
call it, and you cannot see that there is really if you are willing to notice and fix and change, that there is such a beautiful path waiting for you. And those sometimes, unfortunately, those situations that are so hard that we have to go through really are building us for what we will become later, for the benefit of ourselves, our family, our businesses, to be in service. And it's just, and it really is like that. You have a shift in your thinking.
mhm,
It's that threshold of pain where something's not right, but it's not yet enough to fully change, but it's
mhm,
building and you don't realize it. And that is actually a part of psychology. Each person has their own threshold of pain. And
mhm,
if it gets reached, that is when basically it's done, and you are able like that to change your life around and go in an entirely new direction and quantum leap, like you said, because you get crystal clear.
mhm,
And I really applaud what you said earlier, that you are responsible for the reactions to the situations, right? Rather than being victimized, so to speak, by it, you became victorious. And this is all a mindset shift. And this is definitely difficult to do, but once you do it, and you said you
mhm,
were able to relax and not feel so stressed and take it so personally and actually have a little fun with it, you start to see the world a little differently, and you are not so affected by it. And
mhm,
especially when you have a purpose to serve, which we'll talk
mhm,
about with your program, then it's
mhm,
like you just want to get rid of the excess fat, so to speak, so you can have a
mhm,
clear road and do what you're meant to do. And I just, this story is very relatable, different, but relatable to so many of
mhm,
us. I've had my own circumstance where I was sabotaged by someone that I loved and lost
mhm.
home and assets. And you think that, why would someone ever just want to bring you
Do
down like
that.
that? But it
Mhm,
happens. But you know what? We rise up and we become
Mhm.
stronger and we rebuild better. And so share a little bit about this program where you are able to help your clients, and also touch base on your bodybuilding thing, because I think that's really impressive to
Oh,
show
yeah.
your character with how you set your mind to a goal and achieve it and stay the path. I mean,
Mhm.
I am so grateful and applaud you for being in the Marines. What a blessing you have been to all because of your service. And then it just shows your fortitude. Also, like you said, track, but then I know that you did the bodybuilding thing. And I
Mhm.
just really want maybe share a little bit about that and then your program, so that the women listening really get this strong
Mhm.
sense of this is a woman with such conviction who's making things happen and going to pay attention to herself to see where she can tweak it and make it better, because this is the refinement we all are wanting to go on so we can become our best
Mhm.
selves, right? So okay, go ahead,
Mhm.
share a little bit more.
Yeah. So yeah, I did bodybuilding for 6 years while I was actually in the Marine Corps. I took a break during recruiting duty because of that whole situation, but I was bodybuilding from 2013 to it was like a couple years, and then even after I got off recruiting duty, 2018, 19, 20, I was bodybuilding. But that was really the first time I felt like I was in a flow state, and I was really focused on myself and not everyone else. Because what a lot of people do when they even start bodybuilding is they look at other people and want to look like them, or they don't think they're good enough because they don't look like this other person. But I really was able to kind of bring my mindset to a point where I am the person that people are looking at to want to look like. And I'm not paying attention to anyone else. I'm just doing what I need to do every single day to get to this goal. And I really just I didn't have any resistance. I was just doing what I needed to do every day. Diet. I even set alarms for my meals. I was going to the gym twice a day. It was just so much dedication, and I stayed on like motivational videos. That's all I would watch really. And then and then it came to like my competition time, and that day like I just knew I was going to win because I just had that focus, and I was like I'm just focused on myself, not looking at anyone else. And I just went out with that confidence, and I got first place that day. And so
Bravo.
I started coaching in bodybuilding, and I loved coaching. I loved helping people, and the people that actually were able to get on stage and do well, like they all always like thanked me for helping them, because I was really helping them mentally, because it's really a lot of mental, um everything is mental. So
Mhm.
so it I definitely believe that has kind of transferred over into like what I do now and how I coach people in their lives. And it's just I have the ability to be, since I have done the work on myself, I have the ability to see from the higher perspective and see the patterns that people are still running in their lives that they might not be conscious of, because a lot of it is subconscious. And I didn't even realize until it started coming up and I was working with somebody else. And and so what I do is it's like an 8-week program that I do, and we work together one on one. I only do a few. I probably had to do like 5 people at a time so that I can focus on those people. And we do Monday through Friday. I do voice notes back and forth, or you could even text me as well. And I just have like a set time for that, Monday through Friday. And then we do like one call a week where we see each other face to face, like Zoom call. And it's basically an 8-week program. And honestly, the amount of life change within those 8 weeks with this program is like is amazing. So if I could change my life in a matter of 3 days completely, then 8 weeks is definitely one of those things where it makes it a habit and you're going to be able to take it on through the rest of your life.
Yes, and I can attest to the to what you're doing when you have a mental block. Sometimes you don't realize it, and I've mentioned
Mhm.
this before. I went through this where I had this situation with an ex and lost assets, and I wound up basically having a money block where I was always ambitious, but for whatever reason I wouldn't let myself make more money, and it really
Mhm.
was annoying me. It went on for way too long, but I couldn't figure it out. I
Mhm.
didn't understand why I couldn't figure out what my problem was, because I felt very insightful to myself,
Mhm.
meditate, walks in nature, gratitude journals, all of the things, and
Yeah.
could not unlock the problem. And I
Mhm.
was, and I do believe in universal powers and energies, and I was led to
Mhm.
attend a coach in-person coaching event, and I just knew I needed help, and in I just refused to not be called on stage. It was the same way you knew
Mhm.
that you were going to win your bodybuilding
Mhm.
competition. I knew that I'm not
Mhm.
leaving this 3-day event until I get this figured out, because I
Yeah.
was just done. And I got that. She called me up on stage within literally, I would say, 15 minutes or so. She had
Mhm.
me do some exercises that helped me to figure it out for myself. And it was one of those
Mhm.
major aha moments that it was
Mhm.
life changing. And it's exactly the thing that changed my world and led me to go into money mindset coaching, because I thought, wow, this is really true. We think we really know ourselves, but there are blocks we cannot see. And when
Mhm.
you are so blessed to have a coach be able to help you figure it
Mhm.
out and find that problem and then offer the solutions, you never
Mhm.
go backwards again. You are forever on a forward trajectory of self betterment. And that, of
Mhm.
course, is such a blessing to all. And so the fact that, you had that experience with a coach and now you provide that for your clients, it
Mhm.
is really, right, one of the most rewarding things that you can do in life, right? To help someone just get
Yeah.
out of their own way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it really is life. It's life changing, and the thing that people don't realize is money and love with a relationship is usually it's the same energetic channel. And so once you like clear that up, it's like you can actually attract a healthy partner in your life too.
Yes, and it all definitely goes together, like you were saying.
Mhm.
I also want to just point out, because I think it's an important thing, when you were speaking about your bodybuilding, you mentioned a couple times you didn't even pay attention to the so-called competition. You had your
Mhm.
blinders on, you had one focus, you were making it happen, you had that self-conviction. And can you share this? We'll go into the success questions in a minute, but
Mhm.
this might even be like a pre-question that could even
Mhm.
help. Um, many are paying attention, will use social media. Oh, her
Mhm.
Instagram feed, she has all of these followers, her reels, her content's amazing, I'm just
Mhm.
starting, I don't know. And there's no blinders for what they're doing.
Mhm.
They're just seeing everybody else do better than them in their
Mhm.
opinion, and being they're getting frozen to move
Mhm.
forward with their own voice. Can you speak a little bit to that, where they can maybe find a way to not pay attention to what their so-called competitors are doing
Mhm.
and stay in their own lane so that they can
Mhm.
succeed for themselves?
Mhm. Yeah, so that's the thing. Social media has gotten to be, it can be a good thing and a bad thing because it's very good for marketing and all that. But then it's like you do get caught up in seeing everybody else's success when, you don't really know where people are at because, people could put whatever they want on their social media and you don't know. But that is like one of the biggest mistakes because when you're looking outside of yourself, it's never going to work the way that it needs to work out for you because you have to look within in order to bring your authentic self forward in order to do what you were meant to do, because we're all meant to do something here on this earth, but we were meant to look within for it and get that source energy from within us to project it out, because that's when we're the most successful, is when we're actually able to do that. And I've experienced this for myself in many different occasions when I was bodybuilding, and I might not have known what it was at the time, but now it's like I see clearly um, those things, and that looking within, you have to be able to put the social media aside. And I even had to do it too. I had to basically, all I do is post things, and then I don't really scroll through. I might scroll through a couple and repost things that align with me. But other than that, like, I just put it down. I don't even focus on it. You have to be able to focus on you and just go about life and do the things that make you happy, whether it's, going for a walk, or like, and the thing that I've realized too is constantly checking your social media and just checking to see how many followers you have. All of that provides it causes resistance in the universe, and anything that causes resistance is going to hold you back. So you have to let things flow. You have to let go and let things flow, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful, really.
Yes, I love that because you spoke about flow before. It was when you were talking, with your bodybuilding, there was
Mhm.
no resistance. You were just in flow. And that is really a very uh, key way that you can know that you are on target for what you're meant to do. And it's joyful and it's easy and it's relaxed and
Mhm.
it's like a spring that just keeps flowing. And I think that's really important, uh, that we spoke about this.
Mhm.
Now, your 8-week program, if someone wants to go and learn more about you and your work, what you already have done, what will come for you in the future that you might create, where will they go to find you?
So I would say just go to it's allmylinks.com/ remember who you are 222, because
Okay.
I'll be updating that constantly, and I'm making sure that, my correct websites are on there and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So that's the best way
Excellent.
to
And
find
I will, of course, put that in the show links so that everybody has a chance to go ahead and see all the amazing things that you're doing. So, all right, let's go in now to the success questions. I think we kind of sort of covered a couple that are just
it.
beautiful, that are really already inspiring. But let's see. Maybe I would ask you, for someone that is just starting their business, what would be your number one tip for them to kind of get growing, basically?
For me, I feel like the number one tip to get growing is to just um, have that goal, write it down, and things will start to come to you of what you need to do. But you really just have to write down the goal, and then be in a state where you're not worried about it, like I said, causing that resistance. And so things will come up. I will say, putting yourself out there, being a part of different groups, um, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, especially if you have your own business. So
Yeah, I
I
love
definitely.
that. I think I want to go into the second question. Well, it's basically about manifesting. And I
Mhm,
like what you just said. You write down your goal. So,
mhm,
with this question, keeping that response that you just gave in mind, here's the question. Do you believe that you can manifest your desires? And how do you personally do this? And have you had success manifesting what you desired? So we already know a couple answers there, but can you speak a
mhm.
little bit more about the manifesting as you just related it to know your
Mhm.
goal, write it down?
Yes, so I 100% believe that we can manifest our desires. We're actually manifesting all the time, and we don't even realize it. It might not be always what we want, but we're still manifesting it. But writing things down is like it's like a contract with the universe. So it just solidifies more of what you say and what you think. And so you just have to and the key to manifesting really is focusing on that thing and believing that you can achieve it. The biggest thing I would say too is, don't tell other people about what your goals are, because people are always going to If they can't see it in themselves, they're not going to see it in you. So they're going to knock it down. And so you have to be more sure in your goal before you start telling people about it. So don't tell people about it. Just write it down, believe it, keep doing the steps, because your body is just gonna do the steps, and you're gonna attract the things to you that need to get you to that goal. And we really don't have to worry as much as, like, well, I don't know how to do this or that. It's gonna come to you if you believe it. You just have to stick with it, and things do come to you. I've manifested. Manifested many things. It's like the bodybuilding, the houses. Like, I was the one that did all the work for the houses. We had Frenchies, and we were breeding Frenchies, and I was doing all the work for that, as far as selling them and things like that. So when you focus on something, you just have to have a clear intent on what you want. So it has to be clear, and then you write it down and you focus on it, and things will just start to come to you. You'll start to see synchronicities, is what I call them, because things will just start to happen, and you're like, oh wow, like things are coming into my life. Like,
I wanted to ask you because I think a lot of women will say, okay, well, do I have to write it down every day or 10 times a day or 100 times a day? Do I have to visualize it every day? Or how do you talk to that? Because I have my thoughts, there's um, 100 people will tell you 100 different ways to manifest, basically. I
yeah.
tend to believe that if you just have such a strong intention that you want to achieve it, just
Mhm,
feeling it fully once is enough. It's not like you have to
mhm.
keep reminding, in my opinion, or writing it down 100 times a day for it to work. For me, it's like an internal, I own it, I claim it,
Yeah.
it's happening. And so, you know, I think sometimes there who knows what is the right philosophy on that? Maybe it's a combination
Mhm,
of things. But for you personally, do you like you just know it, write it down once, visualize it, and let it be and let it come to you? Or are you
mhm,
sort of, okay, every day I'm going to write this down or visualize
mhm.
this? Or what's your process?
So I do think that it's different for everybody. Everybody's different. If you can say it once and know it and believe it within you, like, that is enough, because that's all you really have to do is believe it and let it go to the universe, and it'll come, it's gonna manifest. But for me, what I do is I'll write it down, and there's certain things that I will just know, and I won't have to continue writing it down. But if it's something that I get some fears and doubts about. Fears and doubts are lies, and you have to tell yourself that, they're gonna come into your mind, but you have to know that it's a lie, because you can create anything that you want. You just have to believe it. And so sometimes I have to write it down a few more times to really believe it or visualize it, and and then it'll be stuck. So it just
Oh, I
depends.
like that. That's a really good point. So basically, if you were feeling that you can't believe your own abilities to achieve something, then work on that until you do. And then, at some point, you'll just get into that flow where you don't have to continue the repetition because you're just claiming it fully and you feel that. So
Mhm,
that's a really good point that and I think that's extremely important. And and that's the case for maybe there might be one goal that I only claim once and I know it's going to happen, but maybe like you said, there's something else that I have to really kind of convince myself, because and then you are so correct, I would continue
mhm.
until it felt a natural, yes
It
I
felt,
will, yes I will. But I also want to point out what you just said before about not don't tell anybody about your intentions until you are basically midway to completely complete with that goal. And this
mhm,
sometimes goes against what some of us may have heard before, myself included. I don't recall who, but I remember hearing, tell tell the world about your goals because it'll make you have to stick with it because you don't want to maybe have egg on your
mhm,
face. So you'll be
mm,
more motivated to complete it. And I
mm,
have found actually just the opposite, because if it's a new goal, it's kind of like
mhm,
muscles. We're rusty, we have weak muscles,
mhm,
we need to build them up through our own quiet private repetition until we get a little
mhm,
confidence in ourselves and start to see results, right? And so I
mhm,
feel like you just said, that if you share it too soon before any results showed up, people's
Mhm.
others energies will throw you off. And if you already
Mhm.
have a little doubt about yourself because you've never achieved it before, well, then
Mhm.
add in extra doubts from the outside world, people that you don't want to, like, you know,
Mhm.
feel silly in front of. It just adds way too much pressure. And I think also keeping your goal to yourself is one of the nicest forms of self-love and self-care, because
Mhm.
it's like it's all for you. It's all about you and mastering your own self, and you don't
Mhm.
need that outside energy. So I really love that you brought that up. I don't know if you want to expand any more on that, but I absolutely agree with you. I am hush 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 about my goals now until I have
Mhm.
really full confidence that they're
Mhm.
definitely happening.
Yeah, yeah, because I've even seen myself when I've told people, and it might have just changed the trajectory of what I was doing because of, telling people and then bringing my doubts into my mind. But that's the thing, the vision was given to you, so it's not up to everyone else to believe in your goals. It's up to you to believe in your goals. And so when you believe in it, and you work on it, it's going to manifest. You just have to, you just have to stick with it. That's the biggest thing too. I think people are in so much of a rush to see results right away that they give up too easily. But there is a lag time in the universe where you have to stick with it, because the
Yeah,
universe does want to make sure that you're serious.
that's true.
And
That's true.
so if you and there were a lot of things in my life that I realized, even when I was changing the type of men I was attracting, there were other people that would come to test you, basically, to see
Mhm.
where your self-love is. And so like you said about self-love, like a lot of it is about self-love, and holding your boundaries, to know what you desire, and know that you deserve that too. You deserve everything. And it was honestly our birthright to be able to come here and manifest whatever our heart desires. And so we just need to realize that and be able to stick with that.
I love that because it just shows you it's really all about that mindset mastery and allowing yourself to receive the blessings, the dreams and desires you have. I always feel like if it's in your heart and soul, it's meant for you. Because when you
Mhm.
think about the world and all of the things that you could choose to do, why did that come to you to inspire you to spark
Mhm.
something in you? It could have been something else. It could have been, maybe
Mhm.
you're an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or
Mhm.
an AI developer. There's a million types of work out there. So why, whatever it
Mhm.
is, for all you women out there, the thing that it makes you so excited, why not? Where'd that come from? That is meant
Mhm.
for you. So if it's because all the other things are not coming into your heart the same way, you're not that excited to be an engineer, maybe, or
Mhm.
a biophysicist or whatever. You had your personal stamp for what was meant for you. So accept that it's special to you and for you and meant for you, and then just
Mhm.
have that belief system to keep going forward. And and what you just said, don't quit so quickly, or maybe have
Mhm.
a little bit more softer non-hustle goals. Allow
Mhm.
yourself to flow and develop into it. You'll gain momentum as you go. You'll gain
Mhm.
the mastery as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out at once. And
Mhm.
just that ownership of that mindset that you're
Mhm.
worthy of that. That's a
Mhm.
little difficult sometimes. How would you suggest, maybe you have, can you give an example of how someone can get into the mindset of I am worthy of this, I am worthy? How can
Mhm.
someone, because imposter syndrome comes up, I'm
Mhm.
not worthy comes up, they're better than me comes up,
Mhm.
who's going to believe me, how can I charge my worth,
Mhm.
all those things. Can you maybe give possibly a morning mantra, or a morning
Mhm.
routine that a woman can start to do to start to activate the worth
Mhm.
I am worthy quality in her life. Since
Mhm.
everything is about mindset and the energy we're putting out there,
Mhm.
what's your advice on that?
Yeah, so I actually do that as part of my program as well, where it's a quantum embodiment. And so I can do it a few different ways. What I've found that actually really works well is like the mantra of just really feeling into because there's so many different versions of us out there. Every possibility is out there. And so we just have to feel into that version of us that is worthy. And sometimes it takes saying it out loud and saying it with conviction, because that's really like when you have that strong intention with the elevated emotion, that's where you get the vibration and the embodiment of it. And so there's been times where I even went on my workouts and I'd like yell it and I'd feel it like coursing through my cells and my body. And it really, I don't know, it really, that worked really well for me. And so you just, sometimes you do have to just, you have to tell yourself every day sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes you do get those doubts. So but I do feel like with the quantum embodiment, there are certain activations that I've been able to do where I didn't have to do it again. um
Yeah.
so
You were speaking about that, about telling it to yourself. And for some reason, I had this image in my mind. And I thought the average woman, let's say she has a partner, kids, pets,
mhm,
friends. How often is she saying, I love you, honey? Oh, you're such a good doggy. Oh, you're the best child. How many loving compliments is she giving to the beautiful
everyone
blessings in
else.
her world? So, if for you women, I have a little game for you. For every compliment you give your partner, if you have a
Mhm.
child, if you have fur babies, or to your friends, every time you compliment them, be aware of it and then say something nice to yourself, because we need to start complimenting ourselves more and showing us our love. So
Yeah.
that maybe could be like a little mnemonic, so to speak, right? Some kind of,
Mhm.
little, oh, I
Yeah.
just told my cat or my dog that I love them 10 times in a row.
Mhm.
Now go take yourself in the bathroom mirror and say it to yourself,
Yeah.
because you are an
Yeah.
amazing, worthy woman. So I don't know why that came to me, but it was just making me think about how easy it is for us to tell everybody else how amazing and
Mhm.
wonderful they are and how much we love them and how much we want to show up and be their cheerleader and big supporter.
Mhm.
And sometimes do we
Mhm.
do that enough for ourselves? Like here we
Yeah.
are, this is our life experience. So we're only going to become a better person to everybody in our life when we
Mhm.
start up leveling our own
Mhm.
mindsets and actions, right? So it's like a double blessing to everybody. So I love that we're
Yeah.
getting into this mindset stuff. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I might even ask
Well,
you one
'cause
more question related
mhm.
to money and mindset, because this is you know, me when I'm coaching women on money mindset stuff, a lot of the thing is about, oh, I can't charge that much, owning their worth, charging their worth. So
Mhm.
the question would be, what mindset around money did you have to activate to overcome challenges relating to charging your worth? Because there are women out there with amazing packages and offers that will really
Mhm.
transform another
Mhm.
human being. And what's your thoughts on that as far as money mindset and charging their worth?
Mhm. Yeah, so that's the thing. A lot of people don't charge. When I was actually personal training, when I was bodybuilding, I wasn't charging what I was like helping people change their lives, and I wasn't charging what I was worth. And so it does take because a lot of us were conditioned with that lack mindset when it comes to money. And so it's the lack that causes the resistance. But we are really abundant. We are abundant, and we just have to embody that and believe that. And for me, I actually had to be consciously aware of my thoughts. And I remember I used to have these feelings towards like paying bills or paying all these paying all these different bills, looking at your account. When you're worried and you're thinking about all of that, that causes that resistance and that lack. And once you start to be consciously aware and actually start letting those feelings go, and then start to feel more, I had to tell this is something I had to tell myself every day for a little while, at least, where I was like, money flows to me effortlessly. I am worthy of, because we've been conditioned, especially as women, to just, like you said, do for everyone else, but not for ourselves. But so we really have to be more consciously aware of our thoughts and how we are thinking about ourselves. And so money is a big thing with that. And you really have to go within and really feel the worthiness, because we are worthy of it all. And we just have to really embody that and believe that. So
Yes, I love that. Yeah, and it reminds me also like what you're saying, and it's also like you shift your perspective, right? So
mhm,
let's just say, for an example, maybe someone gets very stressed or agitated when they see a bill come in, right? Cell
mhm,
phone bill, rent, electricity,
mhm,
whatever it might be, grocery bills. It's very naturally accepted
mhm.
to for people to kind of have a attitude about that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But if you start to shift it, when you have to pay that electric bill, I am so thankful to pay this electric bill and have the
Mhm,
light in my house that illuminates things so I can read my favorite books and cook my favorite meals,
mhm,
right? I'm so thankful for my car payment because I get to drive this beautiful car that takes me from A to B
mhm,
and wherever I want to go and gives me that freedom. I'm so thankful that, I pay this rent or mortgage because I have a
mhm.
beautiful home that I'm housed in that is my sanctuary. And so it
Yeah.
sounds, it's very important, right? That
It
shift.
really
And this
is
is,
that change in language.
yes. And it's abundance mindset. And when you,
Mhm,
and then it changes that energy frequency
mhm.
level. And, all of a sudden you're like, and even, like,
Yeah.
for example, like if we all know groceries have really have shot up in prices, and or gas, right? Fuel for our
Mhm.
cars. It is understandable to easily get annoyed by this, but it
Yeah.
is what it is, right? At the
Mhm.
moment. And so it is better to just say, I'm so thankful that there exists something called fuel that allows me to get from A
Mhm.
to B. I'm so thankful for these great healthy groceries that I get to,
Yeah.
nourish myself with. And so anyway, I just really think this whole mindset thing is just the key to
Mhm.
everything. And just question yourself. How are you responding? Like, try and be aware of
Mhm.
yourself, what are you saying when, and what, and
Mhm.
really question it. If you could say it in a
Yeah.
more positive way, that will up level your mindset, because that
Yes.
will affect everything in your
That's
life, right?
everything. Yeah, that really is everything, is changing your language, because words are powerful.
Yeah,
And
they really
so
are.
when you're in the victim language, you're gonna cause that resistance.
Exactly.
And then when
Exactly.
you're in the abundance mind, abundance language, like, I get to pay this, or
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. Even if it comes down to work, like let's say someone
Mhm.
has a bunch of, I don't know, paperwork to do, and it's not their
Mhm.
favorite thing, and they're drudging it, not looking forward to it. If they were able to say, I'm so lucky that I have clients and I get to,
Mhm.
work on their case today, whatever it might be. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of like beware, ladies, of how are you speaking out into the world about yourself,
Mhm.
about what you have to do, about what you're
Yeah.
responsible to or for, and see if you can shift that into a more
Mhm.
abundant, focused, energetic, because it'll quantum leap you, right? Basically, it's
Yeah.
going to have a
It
ripple effect,
really
right?
will, because, I do remember I used to be the type to look for, like, the cheapest gas or the cheapest this or that,
Mhm.
but I stopped even thinking about that. I just go get
Yes.
gas wherever I wanna get gas at. I don't look at the price. I just get the gas. Like, I don't put the
And
worry
there's,
in it.
yes, there is something to that. And I've had example after example in my own life where I want something and I'm like, and there might be that part. And now I'm not saying to be irresponsible, but
Mhm.
that's a whole different case. But if
Yeah.
there's something and you just say, I'm going to, I am
Mhm.
buying that. So many times after I have said yes to the universe, I will typically get a sale without even trying. It is as if
Yeah.
the universe said, I appreciate that you have such faith in your abundance, and I am going to now bless you with more abundance. And so
Mm-hmm.
it happened so many times that it's not coincidental. To me, it's sort of like, let me show my faith and abundance in the environment, in the universe, and without even trying. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, oh wow, I just got a new
Yeah.
client.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Um,
Right.
it just
That
is
is
an up
how it
level.
works, and then
It,
sometimes money even comes from places you didn't even know, like, you didn't even
absolutely,
realize, like, I that's happened to
absolutely.
me, where I just had so much faith, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna get what I want to get without being irresponsible," like you said, but I'm gonna get
Yes, yes.
the things that I want. I wanna decorate my house how I wanna decorate it, and
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
and
it's a
then
lot of
there's
fun when
money
you
from
start to
somewhere.
see the patterns, right? How they all connect, and
Mhm,
you're like, oh wow, this is great. It's
mhm,
wonderful to really get that shift. And I love that you can work
mhm,
with women really and in such a fundamental way to help them really create those shifts. And like I
mhm,
said before, ladies, trust me when I say this, you cannot see all your own blocks. I wish it were the
mhm.
case. It was not the case with me. It was not the case with
Yeah.
Sonya and so many others that I have met. We have blocks and we need help. So get the help, invest in the help because it'll help you be prosperous and abundant
Yeah,
because you'll get to wherever it is you're meant to get to quicker and more joyfully and at ease. So, all right, before
and
I
that's the
wrap up,
thing
yeah,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say that's the thing I realized was before I might have been scared to invest money into something like that. But the thing is, with the universe, the way the universe works, if you invest into yourself,
Yeah,
you're going to get 10. And I always say that too now. Like, when I'm investing in myself, I'm going to get tenfold back. And so it's all,
yes,
it's just been the case since I've been just
absolutely.
saying that. So,
Yes, I get it because I can absolutely agree with you on that because I experienced the same thing. So, okay,
mhm,
I'm going to close out with one of my I love kind of this question, but do you have a special morning and or evening routine that you do and like if you don't do it, it makes you feel a little bit off and it kind of
mhm,
changes the day. So like what do you love to do in the morning and or the evening that keeps
mhm,
you on your focus to being your best self in all parts of your
mhm.
life?
So for me, in the morning, I always make sure to turn on some type of meditation. Usually it's like Joe Dispenza.
Ah,
I love Joe. But I'll turn on some type of meditation and I'll repeat after it before I even get up, before I don't look at my phone to scroll through social media. Um, so I intentionally do that. And then in the evening time too, I do try and um, say some type of mantra. It's more of a mantra at night for me where, I talk about how good my day was. These are the good things that happened that day. And then tomorrow is going to bring even better
yeah.
things. And I can't even say that I do it every day because I have a toddler. So, um, but I do make sure to do it as often as I can. And then usually if I do feel a buildup, and then my toddler goes to daycare, I'll go to the lake. I have a lake that I go to that I'll just sit and I'll just silence my mind, just meditate, silence my mind, and do some of my quantum activations. And I feel like reset whenever I
Yes.
go to the lake.
Oh, I love that. Yes, there's
Mhm,
nothing like nature to really
mhm,
reconnect you with your inner self. Really, it
mhm,
is the best go-to, and getting into these practices. I love that. I'm so thankful for this beautiful interview. It is absolutely inspiring your journey and your mindset shifts and how it has, blessed your life. And now you're helping so many others to have, that change that they can go and have these amazing lives as well. So before we sign off, just one more time, can you share again uh, your business link?
yeah, so the links, it's allmylinks.com/ remember who you are 222.
I love it.
So that'll have like my website and all my social media.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this beautiful interview. I know it's going to be such an inspiration to anybody who has the you know,
Mhm.
gift of listening to it. And, like I said, please reach out to Sonya. She really gets it, like on a deep
Mhm.
level, what transformation is about and how to, quantum leap your results to get there. So go check out her site. And, I'm always telling you, women, if it's in your heart, don't give up on it. Just keep going. You know, if you're having a bad moment with your business, or even if you have to pause it for a little, don't let it go. Just find a way to bring yourself back into your powerful energy. And you have a service that's going to help others, and try and stay connected to the fact that yes, it's about you, but it's also about those that you can help. And that is such a motivator for us, especially because we love to nurture and love others into their better selves, right? Let's make sure we do it for our own selves, but also just keep going forward with your dreams. Just make it happen. And you know visualize your success and claim it
Mhm.
and own it and up level your mindset. Your mindset's everything. So make sure you're exposing yourself to really important things, uplifting books, uplifting movies, videos. Stay away from the negative. Reframe the way you
Mhm.
talk to yourself about things in your life. If there's negative Nellies in your life, just distance yourself a little bit. Don't take it personally. I love that in the
Mhm.
beginning of our
Mhm.
talk about, because that's hard.
Yeah.
We tend to get emotionally affected when somehow we're criticized, or we
Mhm.
think we disappointed. It's very difficult to put a little bit of that armor on, and we need to,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we have bigger purposes and we need to be strong
Yes.
and go forward with them. So thank you so very much for this
Yeah,
beautiful
thank you for
and
having me.
oh, my pleasure. You're an amazing woman. So, all right,
Mhm.
ladies,
You
I
too.
will see you the next time. And just keep going for your dreams. And bye for now.
Bye.